Hello, my name is Marta Magellan, and I'm the author of Amazing Misunderstood Bats with photographs by Merlin Tuttle. The misunderstood but amazing bat. Maybe you don't like bats, but if you don't, you will want to adjust your bad attitude once you read about these amazing creatures. They are probably the most misunderstood of all animals. They hang upside down in dark places, only go out at night, and fly high up in the dark skies with their eerie, pointy wings. True. They've also been known to suck blood and turn into evil vampires. Not so true. Some of those misunderstandings are superstitions. Others are just plain wrong. Bats are amazing animals. They help clear the world of bugs, pollinate plants, grow forests, and much more. Bats pollinate plants. Bats do something super important. They help plants grow. Plants can't travel, so they depend on animals to take pollen from one plant or part of a plant to another. That way, new plant seeds can be made. Bats go into a flower to sip nectar, and the pollen sticks to their fur. Even bats that eat insects sometimes follow the bugs into flowers, then carry the pollen out. Bats, not birds or bees, are the world's best long-distance pollinator. There are over 500 plants that rely on the help of bats. If you like bananas or chocolates, thank a bat. Bats keep forests growing. There are hundreds of species of bats that make rainforests grow and deserts bloom. These bats eat the fruit and the seed of many plants. Then they poop the seeds out all over as they fly. The seeds grow into trees in the forests. Lush forests are good for people and animals all over the world, no matter where they live. Bats gobble up bugs. Some people think bats are pests. Not so. Bats eat pests. They gobble up loads of insects that damage crops and gardens. They also eat insects that cause disease in humans. Some bats can eat as many as 1,000 bugs in 1 hour. Most of us wouldn't mind if those were all mosquitoes, but bats eat all kinds of bugs and keep them under control. Imagine how much bug spray we'd have to use if there weren't any bats. Bats can see with sound. Bats have a surefire way to catch even tiny bugs while flying through the air. It's called echolocation, and it's the way they can hunt in the inky blackness of night. They locate the bugs by emitting a high-pitched sound that bounces off the insect to the bat's ears. From this echo, the bat can tell where the bug or the object is. Bats are the only mammals that can fly. Some mammals can glide, like the flying squirrel, but bats are the only mammal that can truly fly. The scientific name for bats, Chiroptera, means hand wing. That's because the bat's hand is also its wing. Bats have arms, elbows, and 4 fingers and a thumb, just like people. The fingers are almost as long as the rest of the body. Bats are super good flyers, maybe better than birds. Bats help fertilize crops. Fertilizer is a natural or chemical mixture that you spread on the ground in order to make plants grow better. The word for bat poop is guano, and it is used as a fertilizer. It has helped farmers for thousands of years. Guano is rich in 3 important nutrients, which means nourishment, for plants. Big farms use chemical fertilizers now, but many organic farmers today still use bat guano for their crops. Bats help medical science. The vampire bat, exaggerated as being a dangerous killer, is the one that may help medical doctors. Blood clots, clumps of dried blood, tend to be dangerous. A clot can go to the patient's brain. Bat saliva, which means spit, has something in it that keeps the blood from clotting. It is 100 times more powerful than drugs made to get rid of clots. The chemical in vampire bat saliva tackles just the clot and doesn't interfere with anything else in the blood. Real vampire bats may someday save many lives, more than the scary fake ones kill in horror movies. The misunderstood bat. Bats are the most misunderstood of all mammals. Many people are afraid of them. They are considered spooky and associated with Halloween and vampires. There are those who even believe they will fly into your hair. They won't. Echolocation, you know. Bats are not bloodsuckers. No bat will probably ever bite you to suck your blood. There are over 1,300 species of bats in the world, but only 3 of them like the taste of blood. They are called vampire bats, and they live in Mexico and South America. Vampire bats prefer to pierce the skin of an animal, like a chicken or a cow, and lap the blood up with their tongues. It's like a mosquito bite to them. There is no sucking involved. Bats are not flying mice or rats. Rats rhymes with bats, and they are both mammals. But that's about it. If you look closely at the faces of bats, you'll see they look very different from rats. Also, they don't behave like rats. Bats don't chew on things like wood, metal, or your plastic bag of potato chips. Scientists have placed bats in a group all their own called Chiroptera. Bats are not blind. If you ever heard someone say blind as a bat, it's definitely not true. They don't have the sharp and colorful visions humans have, but at dawn and dusk, they see better than we do. Some bats, like fruit bats, hunt using sight alone. They have large eyes and binocular vision. Even the small insect-eating bats with poor eyesight rely on visual clues to navigate long distances. Bats do get rabies, although bats are not all diseased with rabies. They get rabies much less often than other mammals. Raccoons, foxes, even dogs are much more likely to bite a human and pass on rabies. Bats become paralyzed when they get rabies and can't fly. They can't even hang on long enough to roost. So stay away from bats on the ground. That way, you're not going to get rabies. Whew! Isn't that a relief? Except that now you'll be extra careful around raccoons and stray dogs, and that's smart. Bats are fun. Watching bats emerge from their caves and their houses is exciting. It is a big event in Austin, Texas, and Gainesville, Florida, as well as other places where bats live. People wait at dusk to see huge numbers of bats emerge from their roosting places and even from bat houses built just for them. Now you have to admit, bats really are amazing. The end. More facts about bats. Habitats. Bats are losing their habitats. This means they don't have the same number of caves and forests to root in as in the past. People have started to build bat houses for them. Bats now roost by the thousands in special places built just for them, like the ones in Gainesville, Florida. White nose syndrome. Millions of bats have died of a disease in the United States and Canada. White nose syndrome is caused by a fungus that grows in cold and humid environments, such as bat caves. We can best help bats by protecting their habitats and leaving them alone. I hope you do too, and I hope you've enjoyed Amazing Misunderstood Bats. This is Marta Magellan. Thank you for listening.